Alf, how are you? What's going on, sports card hobby family? Back again. It's another day. It's another sports card video. How is everybody doing? I had flag football as a coach this past weekend, got rained out, and I kind of got bailed out because, frankly, the game plan wasn't ready.
School's closed. It's a holiday, you dumbasses.
Whoa.
We didn't have the plays down. Actually, my dad really stressed me out because he had coached my little brother, who's 20 years younger than me. Long story, but anyway, I've got a couple of brothers. My 23-year-old brother, when he was playing flag football, my dad coached him, had a whole playbook. He was stressing me out. He's like, hey, I'll send you my plays. He sent me the plays. We're going through it. He's like, hey, have you done this? Have you done that? Anyway, I did get bailed out, so I have a little bit more time to prepare for the flag football season ahead for my 9-year-old. Pumped up about that. Today, guys, we're going to talk about 5 cards that have gotten absolutely annihilated over the last 365 days. And I ask you, is this a buying opportunity for these folks? Or is this left for dead? Leave these alone. No, absolutely not. Do not touch these. We're going to dive right in. Before I get started, huge thanks to today's video sponsors, COMC.com. Are you on the hunt for that next NBA superstar or looking to find some Hall of Fame hockey autographs? Look no further than COMC with a 35 million card inventory, a treasure trove for collectors with a wide range of options to suit every taste and preference. The user-friendly COMC interface allows you to filter and search for cards with ease, ensuring you find exactly what cards you're looking to add to your collection. I've got links in the video description as well as the pinned comments. Check it out. Have a good time. Also, you're looking to grade cards. SGC for TCG, only $9 a card to grade TCG cards with SGC. And for sports cards, $15 a card. There's no clubs to join. Don't hesitate. Go to GoSGC.com today. All right, friends, we will dive off the diving board to the deep end. Let's start with, well, this is one pretty easy. I'm sure that if you're looking at a list, you're thinking, what players really screwed up over the last year that would call for cards to fall? And it is a pretty easy one. We'll just start it off with Wander Franco. This idiot, not only does he get in trouble, but then there's absolutely no remorse. Basically, it's just like, bah! His cards, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're looking at the Sapphire Edition, the Bowman First, the Eel Skin Refractor, whatever you're looking at for him, a lot of these cards down 96 to 98%, probably, most likely, never playing baseball again in his life. So this is, again, one of those huge, hyped prospects. So much excitement around this guy. But it just shows you, again, with not just baseball prospecting, but all prospecting. We're talking about baseball prospecting here. But, man, it can go in a hurry. Of course, we've been talking about Shohei Ohtani here over the last few days. Now, his cards haven't taken a 98% dip, and they wouldn't unless he got kicked out of the league or something. But it just shows you that even the tippity-top superstars, if they're still playing, and hell, even when they're not playing, they can do stupid things. O.J. Simpson. You know, there is all sorts of stuff that can happen with these guys. So Wander Franco, kind of a clear, obvious one. We'll stay on baseball for the next one. Oscar Colas. This is a White Sox 25-year-old. He was a guy coming into last season. A lot of speculation, a lot of excitement around the guy. Batted .216, was sent down to the minors. He's got bust written all over him, and a lot of his stuff down 88 to 91%. One thing that I'm curious about and I'd like to learn from baseball card prospectors here is how often do guys go back down to the minors and come back up and have a great career? Is that a career death sentence to where, like, if you get sent down to the minors, it's very unlikely that you make it back? And I ask this because I'm not a huge baseball guy, and I'm just wondering if you're buying baseball cards, if that's kind of a signal to you to just like sell everything and move on. Okay, he's been called down, he's moving down, or he's just playing horribly, and you kind of anticipate that happening, then you move off of it. Or is it something where they go down to the minors, they can regroup and come back and have a great career? I'm sure there's probably examples there, but just curious from the baseball card prospectors if you have any insights there. All right, we're going to shift over. This is kind of an interesting one that you would not be anticipating on this sort of a list. We're going to go to women's soccer, Katerina Macario. This is a superstar striker for the U.S. national team. She tore her ACL, and it's been almost 2 years since she's been able to play. She has recently come back and actually shown some things. She's come back and played strong here over the last little bit, but her cards had fallen, depending on the card, 54 to 80%. And I just wonder too, not knowing kind of the female, the women's soccer products, was that a function of it just being kind of excitement around kind of the hype of women's soccer? I know Dennis Rodman's daughter plays professional soccer. One of my sisters is actually a coach here in the Pro League, the NC Courage here locally where I am. So I do watch those games and they are a lot of fun to watch. I thought this was an interesting one that stood out. I just wonder if it's kind of like excitement around new product and it falls down kind of as it naturally does with any product, kind of coupled with the injury, or if there's other factors as well. But she is coming back on the men, so we will have to see kind of what happens here as she continues her career. All right, we're going to move over to football. Everybody's favorite quarterback from last year, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett no longer a Steeler. Shout out to Joe Day. I know he's a big Kenny Pickett guy. Well, Kenny Pickett went to Pitt, I believe, and so that's why Joe is big into Kenny Pickett. But he was, of course, playing for the Steelers. He was the hope and the dream, and now he is backing up Jalen Hurts, playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, traded over to the Eagles, because the Steelers are going with Russell Wilson. So we'll see if Russell Wilson still has some juice left, some gas in the tank to make a run with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know that Wilson's happy to get out of Denver under Sean Payton. That just seemed like it was not going well at all. And so we'll have to see. But Kenny Pickett, now a backup. But we literally go back a year ago, leading up to the football season into the National, and there's, Kenny Pickett folks. Like, this guy was, not necessarily supposed to be like some highly touted prospect, but some buzz around him being the Steelers quarterback. It's a big-time franchise, and now he is a backup, and he might be a career backup in the same fashion that a lot of these guys are. You look at Jameis Winston, who was, of course, the #1 overall pick with the Tampa Bay Bucks. He played for my Saints as a backup for a while, and now he is off to back up Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. There's so much QB talent in the NFL these days, and there's just a rotation. In this year's upcoming draft, you've got 5 or 6 guys that could go in the first round of this coming draft. Half of those guys, maybe more, are going to be a Kenny Pickett down here in a couple of years. They're going to be backing somebody up, but they will have been a first-round pick. Look, not all these guys can start. There's only 32 NFL teams. There's only 32 jobs. So there's only so many places, and we just have so many above average. We don't have a lot of elite quarterbacks. We've got some elite quarterbacks, but we have a lot of above average quarterbacks in the league. So fighting for that spot is really, really tough. With Kenny Pickett, we have a clear sell-off as he was moved out of Pittsburgh, and now he could very well be a career backup. Last but certainly not least, we got Jeff Wilson's favorite guy, Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder, all the hopes and dreams for the Atlanta Falcons. You know what? He kind of reminded me, it was like Marcus Mariota Part 2. Now, he wasn't terrible necessarily. And look, the Saints struggled against running QBs this year, so Ridder had some success against the Saints. We did finish 9-8. But the Falcons did have some success. I believe we split with them this year. We won one and lost one with the Falcons. But Ridder has been moved off to back up Kyler Murray. Now he's a backup to Kyler Murray in Arizona. But again, this is a guy where, you had speculation on him. Could the Falcons, and again, Saints and the NFC South, Falcons, they don't play in a super tough division. So I could see why speculation money went into kind of the division, the NFC South, whether you're talking about Baker Mayfield, you're talking about Bryce Young for the Panthers, or Derek Carr. I got some Derek Carr cards because they're cheap. And then, of course, you've got Desmond Ridder with the Falcons, no longer with the Falcons. But I can see why people did that, because it's just like, hey, any of these guys could break out. Someone's got to win the NFC South. Maybe they make a little playoff run, but, there's a chance there. Whereas if a QB is playing in a really tough division, it can be hard to break out. But Desmond Ridder, 95 to 97% drops. Now, this upcoming season will be interesting, because will there be movement where there's, a QB injury where one of these guys gets a chance, gets to play and actually plays pretty decently, backing up, becoming a starter? Do you get a little bit of a bump in these prices? Because that's always kind of the thing, is like when you look at, look at Desmond Ridder, 95 to 97% drops on a lot of cards. These are massive, massive stuff. Like, you could actually probably get some nice Desmond Ridder cards at inexpensive prices. And the same goes for Kenny Pickett, as we move forward. And so I kind of wonder how many people will speculate, maybe pick up some of that stuff, just to, not maybe a ton of it, but hey, look, throw some spec money at it. Maybe, who knows, Jalen Hurts gets hurt in Philly, And then there you go. You've got Kenny Pickett in there playing for a decent Eagles team, maybe a very good Eagles team, and having some success. But we will have to see, my friends. This is 5 cards that got annihilated over the last 365 days. Friends, have an amazing day ahead. Alf, do you have anything that you would like to add? Just nothing to say. Nothing to say over here. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.